Well, this is the time of year for mushrooms, that's for sure. Look at the size of that thing. I wish I knew more about my mushroom ID, because that'd be a meal. But, not gonna chance it. It's been a while, guys, since I've been out in the woods. I think my last video was in June. My buddy Kyle came over, so I've been waiting to do this video for a while. It's been almost fall now, although it's unseasonably warm. The dog's panting like crazy, but it's a nice day. Minimal mosquitoes, minimal spider webs. There's more time for me to be back in the bush. Today I got a couple new things. This Shemagh, I've never really carried one before. I've been carrying it like a pack, like a haversack over my shoulder. It's been actually walking around for a couple hours. It's been pretty comfortable. I just sling it over like that, tied it from corner to corner. I'll show you guys that in a minute. Works really well. I'm able to get quite a few things into here as well. My cutting tool for today, my Trailhawk, real useful piece of kit. I had a couple questions about sharpening and maintaining and why I choose this. It's not like I choose this all the time. I actually rarely take this out, but on days like today when I'm just going to walk around, maybe have a little fire to keep the mosquitoes away, I'm not doing much, this is the tool to bring for me. I didn't bring a knife today. It's actually got a sandwich in it, my water bottle, dog leash, an apple, my DC4. I'm going to show you guys how to sharpen the Tomahawk. And just some stuff I was foraging. Some acorns and some rose hips. So you can see, like, the water bottle alone weighs a pretty good amount. All this together inside this Shemagh is fine. It didn't bother me at all wearing it. So you can fit a lot of things in there. My plan of action for today, I just want to walk around the woods, forage what I can, grab some firewood, maybe some more acorns, see what I can get. I want to come back here and have a little fire. The mosquitoes are starting to come out more. Oh yeah, quite a bit more since I stopped moving. So have a little smoky fire, eat my sandwich, and just relax, just enjoy the woods with my dog. Here's a good example of a tree I'd like to use, which is a basswood tree. This is a dead one, and it's in good condition. Most basswood, when they die, they go to punk real quick, and this one still has good bark on it. They grow in clumps. There's two of them together here. Sometimes they can grow up to like 5-6 clumps all at once. This is a really good tree. I'm going to use the bark and I'll show you what for. Go on, bud. You can hear him panting. It's a lot more hot than I thought it would have been. It's end of September. So that's what I'm looking for. The bark peels off in strips like that. Then we can use that for tinder, but it takes some processing still. I've got that one piece of basswood bark that came off fairly easily. Now, what you really want to do is separate the outer bark from the inner bark. Outer bark is tough and useless. Inner bark is very, very fibrous once you rough it up some. It can be used for everything from tinder bundles to cordage to just straight tinder hitting it with a spark by itself. Before I mess with that, I got this other piece of basswood, and if it doesn't just peel off like I showed you earlier, you can kind of just work your way around with your fingers or your knife, whatever. You use a tomahawk as well, and just kind of peel it down. Okay, and that's probably more than enough for what I need. Mosquitoes are starting to get me. Scout took my basswood once again. So we got our two pieces, and really you gotta kind of rough it up a bit. I like the way it comes off in strips like that. That tells me it's not very old, not very long dead, and it's still very tough. So here's the inner stuff we're looking for here. That's all the good stuff there. It has a nice smell to it too. Very earthy. That kind of helps to break the outer pieces off when you rub it on the side of the spine of your knife or your tomahawk, and then you can just peel the outer pieces off like that. A little bit easier way of doing it. This stuff is really tough. It's good. It's just I'm used to working with a little bit easier to work with basswood bark. This stuff is strong though. I'm really starting to get swarmed here by mosquitoes, so I'm going to do the rest of the processing back at my little camp there where I have my water bottle and my sandwich left. So I'm just going to throw my basswood bark into it, and I can rough it up when I get back to camp. Go off and find some wood. Go on. It really bums me out when I find stuff like this in the woods. I don't know what this is. It looks like maybe a pool cover. Heavy duty plastic with like bubble wrap stuff on it. As much as it's ugly and intrusive in the woods, I want to put it to use. I've decided to change camp spots for today. Where I was, the sun was coming in and it was just making the camera have a real bad glare on it, so no big deal. I'm just going to set up here, and this way I'll be able to show you another thing, how I make a bench. First I got to get this wood processed. The smaller stuff I'm just going to break off. The bigger stuff I'll use the hawk for. Maybe like this. I've broken down as much as I can with my hands. It's time to use the hawk. This is ash I'm using. Pretty dense wood. Go on, Scout. And this would be elm, also dense wood. Here, go get it. He's a little amped up. He hasn't been out in a while. I'm never swinging towards myself. It's always one way away. I'm on my knee, just for safety's sake. Trying to hit it in the same exact spot every time. Something like this is going to be perfect for what I need. I could chop into it, but I think it's going to fall. So I'm just going to make sure it's down before I work on it. I don't want to start chopping on it and have it fall on me or on the dog. I'm going to get my punk from the bottom. It was where it was way more punky. Get a few pieces like that and call it good. I'm just making myself a chair here. I've pounded 4 stakes into the ground on an angle, and I'm going to use that piece of garbage, that blue piece of pool cover or whatever, as my seat. So I can actually use it as what I'm sitting on and to rest my back against against the log, so I'm not getting jabbed in the back. It's actually quite comfortable. In the woods, it's nice to have something to rest your back on. I got this fire going soon. Here's that basswood inner bark. I've already started to rub it up a little bit. It looks a little bit more frayed, but it still has a long way to go. Basically, it's the most simple thing going. You just rough it up in your hands, maybe pull it apart a bit until you expose all the fibers. If you've ever tried to take apart jute twine to use as a tinder bundle, it's basically the same thing. You can see all the stuff flying out in the air, the little dust. You just want to get as much surface area as possible, lots of little. Scout's getting eaten by mosquitoes too. They're all around his face there. I'm all set to make my fire. I'm going to strike my fire steel on the blade of my tomahawk. I would never do this with my knife. My tomahawk is a tool I don't mind putting in the dirt. I don't mind getting it dirty. I don't mind chipping the edge because I can repair it easily. It's a tool that, in my mind, is for that. So basically the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to brace the tomahawk and then pull, go on Scout, pull the fire steel across it like that. It's important to have your fire prepped up and ready to go before you even start to attempt this. I've got all my fuel, my kindling, all that ready to go. No, here goes nothing. No, it caught, went out. Keeps going out. I might not have it fibrous enough. We'll see. Good idea to flip it over so it gets all the surface area of it. Brace it. Lay your small twigs on. You don't need to do it any kind of fancy way. I just toss them on all at once. and then my next stage. And I'll usually wait at this stage until it builds and gets a fire going before I add more. I don't know if you can pick it up on the camera, but there's a ton of birds that just started making noise behind me. There's got to be hundreds of them. It's one of the things I like about being out here, you know, just being close to nature. You don't see that kind of stuff or hear that kind of stuff in your backyard unless you're real lucky to live out in a rural area. I'm gonna go try and sneak up and see if I can find those birds. See if I can get them on film for you. Man, they are loud. Oh man, they didn't like that. Those birds just stopped going crazy, squawking, whatever you want to call it. And I never really understood the phrase, the silence was deafening. Well, as soon as they stopped, they all stopped at once, and it was just like, my ears were mute. It was really crazy. But I'm kind of glad they're gone now. So now that my fire has died down some, just to coals, and not red hot coals, but ashed over, I'm gonna put my punk on top. I didn't want it to burst into flames. It is a little damp, so it probably wouldn't happen anyways, but I just wanted to wait a little while so I wouldn't burn it up, because I want it to smolder. I want it to smoke as much as possible. The fire itself was smoking good, but this is the point here, using the punk wood for smoking. So we're just gonna let that sit for a little bit, and it's gonna start to smoke, and I will probably blow on it a little bit just to get it going at first, but hopefully it'll work for me. There you can see it's starting to smoke a lot. I might even take a smoke bath and get all the smoke smell on me, get rid of the mosquitoes even more. Seeing as how I've used my Tomahawk to split wood, chop down wood, strike my fire steel mainly, and dig into the dirt, it does need to be sharpened. I carry a DC4 with me. These DC4s are synonymous for breaking in two pieces. Doesn't bother me one bit. You can glue them back together. I just left mine as is. There's two pieces. The rough side, which is like a diamond hone, and then the ceramic part. 9 times out of 10, I don't have to use the diamond part. There is a bar on it though from using the fire steel, so I will do it. All I really do is just circular, right on the edge. Don't have to use much force. And just try to keep the same angle. That's probably all I have to do with the diamond stone part of it, and it's super sharp right now. I just want to get the edge finer. take the ceramic part, same thing, right on the edge. This is why I don't mind using this tool the way I do. It's like takes 2 seconds to get it back to shaving edge, really. This is a cold steel trail hawk, super cheap. You can make handles for them. Yeah, that thing is really sharp now. Last touch, I would just hit it on my strop. The strop goes into the same little kit that I keep my DC4 in. The strop's a little bit different. I don't do a circular motion. Just go away from the edge. It's stupid sharp. Yeah. Well, that's how you maintain it. It's simple as that. They're good for throwing too. It's real fun. Once you get your pace off, you get one rotation, you can almost stick it every time. Be prepared to make a handle though if you're gonna throw it, because they do break. I have had this one. It's the original handle. I've had it for years. It's been going fine. So it's a testament for a cheap tool. I told you I'd show you how I made that haversack with the Shemagh. I'm just getting ready to leave here, so I'm going to tie this up and get out of here. Basically, Shemagh, big bandana. This is the first I've ever used one. I picked it up a couple days ago. So anyways, you got it open. You take two opposite corners, tie them together. I do just 2 overhand knots. Try not to use too much material because you lose that much more material. Alright, so then you kind of just hold it back right side in instead of it being inside out. What I do is I sling it over my shoulder to where I'm going to wear it. I take the outside corner and I just tie it up here, as high as I can. That way you don't have a hole in the back. Just one overhand knot up here. Okay, so that's on. Then I take it off. I flip it around. I'm sure there's a better way of doing it, but I can't figure it out. Take it off, flip it around. That way, I have a full pocket here. This is my flap, okay, that I'm just going to end up tucking in. So, a full pocket here. Get all my gear, my water bottle, sandwich container, my sharpener, my gloves and my dog leash. Put them all in there. My Tomahawk. Gotta kind of situate the Tomahawk a little bit better because it's obviously longer. Okay, it's all in there. I take my top piece, and you can either tie it on or just tuck it in. I just tend to tuck it in, maybe do a couple wraps. And really, that's how I walked around here all day for 2 hours. The thing ain't moving. It's not the most comfortable thing in the world. It's not going to replace my backpack, that's for sure. But for a multi-purpose item, you know, this could do a lot. This Shemagh, you could filter water before you boil it. You could leach acorns in the stream or the river with it. A multitude of uses. Char cloth. It's just a big, useful thing that doesn't take up a lot of room, and obviously has a double purpose. So that's it for today. I hope you guys learned a little bit. I had fun out here today, and see you along on the next one.